it's YouTube or whether it's...
I think it is YouTube because we were on 4G to avoid our Wi-Fi going down.
So we were having all sorts of fun and games there, chatting about all sorts of things. We just chatted about Brad and Angelina and the, idea
You
that...
thought I was being sexist when I said hell hath no fury like an Angelina Jolie. I didn't feel I was. I was more commenting on her.
But it is hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, isn't it? Like an angry woman is a bad woman.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, well, we were just saying before, the story is that Brad Pitt got dual custody of the kids. Angelina has challenged this because she feels that the judge who came up with that verdict has connections and conflict of interest and has a relationship or has had a relationship with a lot of Brad Pitt's professional representatives. I think that's a fair point. I think that's fair. I think it's a very fair point. I mean, maybe it's less about her not wanting him to have access and it's more about having a due process that's legal.
But as ever, what a bloody shame that people can't just be grown-ups and sort this shit out. Because in the middle of it is, 6 children?
Yeah. 5 underage, I think, or 5, infant.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and a number of people were mentioning on our Popcorn Junkies, we've got a sort of outline of the story Instagram account. It's like in an ideal situation, everyone needs parents. And there was one comment, I can't remember who left it, saying, at least he wants to be in their lives, which is not the case with so many men.
Yeah.
And that's something I feel very connected to.
But like you say, again, it's two megastars that we know nothing of the truth.
No.
There could be all sorts of things about her that he's scared of, re their children, and vice versa, but we will never know. So
yeah,
that's why we can't ever stand in judgment. Who knows?
Very true. Very true. I'm not standing in judgment. I just think it's a very...
No, I'm just saying, just generally, as I'm thinking about, what do I think? I'm thinking, well, I don't know, because I don't know what's happened with them.
True. So it's the old Brangelina story.
I just think it's really sad.
I've got a feeling it could get a little bit Amber Heard and Johnny Depp-esque. And I wonder whether they're going to get to a point where they start revealing more. I don't know. We did say on the previous live, this is the new card for members. If you're a member, we did have a member from the last live, and we've lost your details, I'm afraid. This is what you can win, answering ridiculous questions.
And don't forget, when you join, you get your own personal welcome song.
Yeah, welcome song, and you get to deface Nadia's face, because she's going to deface your name when she sings it. Okay? So there we go. So that was one big story. Now, a big story that you said you covered on...
that I found actually deeply upsetting.
So why don't you fire away on this?
And really scary. Can you just get the story up? Because I'm not sure what the punishment is. I just want to know what the punishment is. So basically, a law has been passed in Texas that is called the heartbeat law. If you saw Loose Women today, you saw us talking about this. And a heartbeat is first detected in a fetus at 6 weeks. So they've made it illegal.
Doesn't say.
Under any circumstances, any. That means mental health issues, that means rape, that means incest, anything. It's illegal to have an abortion. Listen to this Handmaid's Tale twisted part of the story, as if it wasn't twisted enough. Say, for instance, a cab driver drives a woman to an abortion clinic and she has an abortion. They can be charged with aiding and abetting a crime. A neighbour can sue a neighbour who has had an abortion for thousands of pounds, for I think $10,000.
Hi, Wonder Woman. That's...
It's Handmaid's Tale.
You made a valid point that you feel, in a sense, that rule and that... Now, look, we have to say here that in terms of respecting the fact that there are some people, often sat on the Christian side of things, who believe that life is, very precious and that life starts at the very moment of conception.
And we have to respect that it's very painful for some people, the thought of abortion. And I do respect that. I'm not one of these people that thinks that anyone that doesn't agree with abortion is something wrong with it. I really don't. I really, really respect it. But this terrifies me.
Yeah, me.
If you think about when you were a teenage girl, or whatever age you were, when you first went to have the conversation about contraception, and you were told there is nothing that is 100% proof that will guarantee 100% that you won't get pregnant. How petrifying. For me, I'm going to go as far as this. This is, to me, fundamentalism. This is about squishing women into a corner that they only have sex in marriage. Now, when we stand, like we were saying today on News Women, from the West, pointing our fingers at the Taliban and pointing our fingers at the way Afghani women are treated, how do you think this kind of treatment begins?
Yeah.
And this is the beginning of something very scary. Now, let's not forget how Trump squeezed in that Supreme Court judge just towards the end of his tenure. And that woman is a surrendered wife. Quite extraordinary when you think how highly educated she is. And she has like 8 children, doesn't she? And she does what her husband says. I mean, there was rumours that the religious group that she's in was actually what The Handmaid's Tale was based on.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Whether that was ever true. Now, when you think that people like that are in charge of the law of the land until the day they die now in America, I find that pretty scary.
Yeah.
And if Texas can do that, what other places are going to do that? And also, what are we going to have again? We're going to have women driven to backstreet abortions. And there was another article today saying this is a class situation as well, because wealthy women will always be able to arrange a termination. And the people that are often affected the most in something like this are people that already, you know, in dire straits. Really, really recommend, Mark and I, that you watch a film called Never, Rarely, Sometimes. It is
It's very good.
Incredibly such a
impactful.
brilliant film about how a woman can be backed into a corner with no way out with a pregnancy. For me, this was a really sad day.
And there's one moment in that film which is almost a 3 to 5 minute shot just on this teenage girl's face as she's asked a series of questions in this impassive fashion by someone at the abortion clinic. And it takes you through a whole myriad of emotions. Kind woman, but it takes you through so many highs and lows just in the girl's expression.
Everything she has to do to get that termination. And
Yeah.
you know she's going back to her house where her stepfather will rape her again. And the whole cycle will happen again.
Now, you were saying that this law doesn't take into account even whether the woman has been raped or it's a case of incest or sexual assault.
Right, listen, what about this, right? So since we've had AstraZeneca and we've discovered that like 1 in a million people can have a clot, and you think of the outrage that's gone across the world, and then you think that the contraceptive pill, 1 in 100,000 people can have a clot from the contraceptive pill, and we've known that for decades. No further research has been done, right? A girl will have a woman or a young girl, lots of young girls will have them these days as well, will have a coil inserted into their cervix with no anaesthetic. That's the norm. You don't get offered an anaesthetic when you have a coil. Now, take a man's penis, right? And imagine making that man have a coil inserted into his penis and then released inside his penis. Can you imagine? Now, I think Jamilia said today, right, okay, so if it's going to happen, let's reverse all the men's vasectomies. Let's just do that. It's a very easy operation. Let's make all men, or the other way around, let's give all men a vasectomy. Can you imagine anything like that being accepted for a minute? We take too much.
But presumably from a religious perspective, if you were to do that to men, you're preventing the incredibly spiritual, meaningful thing that we're put on this planet for, which is to procreate in marriage and all this kind of stuff. The part of it that I don't get my head around is if religion is all about tolerance, acceptance and what have you, why there isn't tolerance of a woman able to make this decision. And the part of this law that really concerns me is that we're talking about whenever there's a heartbeat. So if you can pick up a heartbeat within the woman's womb, then to get rid of the baby or to have an abortion will be criminalised, or is going to be criminalised, or is now criminalised. Lots of women don't know they're pregnant up to 6 weeks, sometimes up to 7, 8, 9 weeks. So what happens there? There's literally no capacity. So in a weird way...
And a lot of women that are raped, right, and they say that, and they think about 20% of rapes end up in pregnancy. I was watching something on YouTube about that the other day. And if you think, like, the rape and the trauma that would come with that, It may not even occur to a woman that while they're dealing with the trauma. This is
But can I say something? Because I thought in a weird way, I thought, well, you were saying this could be the start of something. This is the thin end of the wedge and all of that. And I was thinking, well, actually, no, I think this could be for a lot of people in Texas who've got this law passed. This is the wedge. This is what they've wanted. But if you start to sort of scroll back from a 6-week potential breaking of the law, if you were to get rid of the baby inside you, in a way, what they're doing with a law that's so sort of impossible is they're going to now make youngsters so stressed and judged, and they're going to politicise just having sex.
I know, that's what I mean. You go as a young woman and you say, how do I not be pregnant? So, well, listen, there's no 100% here. There's no risk-free. You could get pregnant in anything. Now, when I had... this is what happened to me. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this. Years ago, I went to a GP, she was a woman, and I'd had a situation with the Durex, and I went in and said, I need the morning after pill, completely doing the responsible thing, completely. And she said to me, she asked me where I was in my cycle, you know, and I had that real white doctor, what's it called, white coat thing, where I was like, and she said, okay, you're there in your cycle. I can't remember what it was. This is years and years ago. And she said, well, there's practically no chance you could be pregnant where you are in your cycle. And the morning after pill could be extremely dangerous for you. So I'm not prepared to give you the morning after pill. Well, guess what? I was pregnant. I got pregnant from that. And I had to tell. Now, I realised now, not till years and years later, I didn't even think of it at the time. She was anti-abortion. And she gave me, in her position of power as a doctor, the wrong steer. And I just believed her because she was the doctor. You know, and that's really wrong for somebody else to make the decision for your body. Like, I can feel such outrage about that still today, you know.
No, I agree.
I mean, do they really think that women won't abort now? Is that what they think? They don't think that they'll go to any length now? Because a woman who's desperate not to have a baby could do anything to herself.
And of course, America being in America, you know, lots and lots of abortion clinics have already closed because they want to avoid litigation and prosecution from people sort of saying they are now committing illegal acts. Now, just read LC. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Hello, we love our American followers, on the East Coast. So I'm always embarrassed by these ideals from other parts of the South because we are nothing like them. I can well understand that. I mean, for those who are just listening, this is just in Texas. But, you know...
But couldn't other states just pick up on this?
Well, I mean, I hate to use the phrase, but there are sort of more, if you like, liberal, obviously liberal, usually on the coasts, the East and West Coast, you know, Seattle, California, New York. For some reason, coastal seems to be more sort of libertarian and liberal. I just wanted to draw a quick parallel, though. A lot of the... I mean, this is a vast generalisation in some ways, but I've noticed that there's a lot of anti-vaxxers, a lot of COVID deniers. They seem to sit on the right, don't they, politically? You know, if you think of Trump and all that lot saying, it's a load of nonsense. You keep hearing shock jocks kind of saying, it's a load of nonsense.
Well, that's because there's a disbelief in science.
No, I know. But they would argue that everyone has a right to not have a vaccination jab.
They'll fight to the death that you have the right to have a gun and shoot people.
But for some reason, it's all right for them to say that, you know, a woman doesn't have the right. Oh, look at this. Anne Henderson. This is a good point from a Christian. Here we go. Anne Henderson, I agree with Nadia and Mark. As a Christian, I don't judge anyone. These fundamentalists give Christians a bad name.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. It's like the fundamentalists or people who have the wrong opinion of Islam. You know, these religions are actually about tolerance, acceptance, and kindness in a sense. So it's really odd how they get contorted into this control. It's like the Spanish Inquisition.
Can I just read a couple of things from Jamilia, who's
Thanks,
a great...
Natasha Tiramos. She's just said what you've said. Sorry, if abortion is wrong, then why is there any need for any guns at all?
Exactly. That kind of...
They take lives.
Exactly. So I don't know if you all know Jamilia Jamil. She's a real spokesperson for women and all kinds of things, mental health and everything. And a couple of posts of hers today, I love this. If men don't show up and fight for us, I'm going to start a bill for mandated reversible vasectomies. They are safe and don't take long and are better for everyone than forced unwanted birth. Because it takes two to tango, not only one of us should be held responsible. And then she's put this, not pro-life, pro-forced birth. That's the correct terminology for anyone who discards the life, health, mental well-being, survival and freedom of the living for the unborn, who they will then equally disregard the human rights of once born. Don't you think that's brilliant?
Yeah, I do, and I think it's quite a sensible idea. You know, the other way round, you just wonder why don't they do it? Why don't they do it?
They're pushing towards women only having sex in marriage,
Yeah.
and the next thing it will be is a handmaiden's tale, head bowed scarf.
Here's my much
That's
bigger
where we're
concern
heading.
is that Trump's managed to get this changed. If what we're
Biden used to
gunning,
be pro-abortion.
Yeah, but
I mean Trump. Sorry, Trump.
Yeah, what we're gunning for here is Biden to not mess up, which is why we were kind of really concerned about how he managed the whole Afghanistan thing. You know, we don't want him to mess up, because if we get a lurch back to the right, then yes, I agree, this could be the thin end of the wedge in America. It could spread. I do wonder how many other states will look at this verdict and push again. I mean, because it's such an impassioned thing, isn't it? And yet, weirdly, those people wouldn't see that there's a connection between gun ownership and death, taking of life. It's all right to take a life with a gun, a fully fledged living life that's in the world, but not at a very early stage of embryonic development.
But that would take a bit of deep thinking, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would a bit.
So it might take a minute.
Sticking with America, has anyone seen the remarkable footage of the floods in New York? I mean, we have a very sort of strong connection with New York. Worked there, visited there a lot, and it's very familiar. It's almost as familiar as London when you're on the subway and all that kind of stuff. But the footage of flooding isn't like flooding that you... We went on a ride once at Universal, and it has this moment on the ride where this fictional, constructed underground station breaks up because of an earthquake. Do you remember?
Yeah,
and water pours out.
It was terrifying. It was like as if it's... And we were taken back to that, looking at that, thinking...
It looked identical.
We know what the terror would have felt like with that, and ours was just like brilliantly, it was a brilliant stunt, but it was really scary.
It's pretty serious. I mean,
we love New York so much.
9 people have died, including a 2-year-old baby. It's an overhang from storm or Hurricane Ida, but it ditched in 2 hours, something like the equivalent rain for, I mean...
I was astonished that the trains could still keep going.
I know there was a shot of a train just pushing through it, wasn't it? 22 people have died now, says Juniper Grace.
God.
It's landed on New Jersey as well as New York. I mean,
where have the people died? In the
Some in the floodways, but a couple of people have died in their basement apartments. A bit like in London, a bit like in Ladbroke Grove and Notting Hill, where the water was going up to their sort of chests. I mean, for me, this is just another reminder of the insanely out of kilter. These are the kind of shots that you watch in a movie, a little bit like Don't Go Into the Woods in a horror film, where you go, at what point do we all go, shitting hell? Yeah. Maybe we are all going shitting hell. I posted something on my Insta stories in Extinction Rebellion saying it is too late. I thought it was a bit bleak.
Exactly, Marie Williams. What about all the homeless in New York?
Oh, God.
I mean, everything just ruined, everything soaked through. Oh my God.
It's monsoons all over America. So all of our thoughts and hearts, if anyone here is in New York, going to New York, knows anyone in New York, all our hearts go out to you. It's not good. Now, another big story today, I don't know whether you covered this on Loose Women, Colin Pitchfork.
We did.
The double child...
It was actually really interesting. Jane... Because Jane's covered many cases, and she was in the Fred West.
Wow.
Yeah, a court case. Rosemary, yeah.
Fred
She was sitting right the whole way through the entire thing as a journalist. She watched her face. She was looking straight at
my alleged uncle on my father's side was the coroner on that.
Ah.
Yeah. So tell us what conclusions did you all come to?
Well, he is...
I think it's staggering.
I mean, it is staggering. The thing is, it it is due process. Like when he was given this sentence, it was 1988, and he was given the longest sentence you can have at that time. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you would think things have become more lenient, but actually not, which I find amazing. I was really surprised by that. So he has applied many times. I think he's done 6 or 7 years beyond the years he was given.
And he couldn't. And you were saying that he couldn't have done more because this was the precedent back then.
This is due process. It's the law. It's the law. He now has to come out because he's ticked all the boxes you need to tick.
What about Sutcliffe and the Moors murders?
Well, exactly. This is what Jane was saying. A precedent has been set because there's all sorts of people that have had it extended above and beyond. She, Jane really knows about all these cases. She said, I cannot fathom it.
I've just realised why it would
QC,
be. I've just realised, sorry, just quickly, maybe it sounds awful, but maybe back then they could only give a maximum of 12 years per death. And in which case Fred West, sadly, and the Moors murderers obviously killed a lot of people. So tot it up, it took them to their old age. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And Colin Pitchfork.
No, but there are some people that were given this same sentence that have then had it increased.
Oh, right. Okay.
The maximum tariff.
Right.
But the QC on the last appeal, I think it was the last appeal, had said that he was such a danger, a very manipulative, sociopathic person, and that he was a danger to let out. Now, one of the uncles of one of the relatives of one of the girls who is not for the death penalty has called for the death penalty because he said, God forbid that this person is out anywhere. Now, none of us will know where he is, right?
Surely
and he's
they're
so
going to monitor him,
manipulative. Do you know when they were doing the
Case?
tests for when they did a mass DNA testing of the area when they were looking for the murderer, he actually convinced somebody to go and have their DNA taken instead of him.
Bloody hell.
And it was only because a police officer, overheard this in the pub that they eventually caught him.
Oh my God.
And one of the reasons that was given, one of the points within his
Defence?
no, when they asked, not in the appeal, what's it called when you're allowed to go out finally? When you
Release?
Well, one of the things was that he has produced reams and reams of braille for blind people. That's one of the things on his parole tickler. But it's like, why should that be taken into account? This man has murdered and raped 2 teenagers. And God knows, maybe even more. We don't know. Plenty of people go missing. Now, they're saying it's the strictest rules for anyone that's ever been released from prison.
That's what I've heard.
He's in a hostel, he's this, he's that, he's tagged. They know where he is every second.
And is that going to be for his life? I mean,
well, that's a really good question. How do we know it's for life? But we also know how manipulative this man. And you said something you'd read about.
Well, no. I read that someone who is not a former inmate, is an inmate in the prison that he's just come out of, and this inmate has contacted the outside world and said he is in no fit state to leave.
Well, because he's evil.
Because he's still a psychopath. He's a danger.
We don't not become a psychopath,
still a danger.
do you?
He's still a danger.
And we don't know where he is.
And imagine, the bit that I can't get my head around is, imagine the families of his victims now knowing he's out there.
It's just unimaginable.
Dawny Harvey, this is very personal. The Colin Pitchfork case, it affected my friends. We are absolutely enraged here. We've tried everything to keep him in jail. The country has a danger on the streets.
Oh, God, Dawny. So you have connection with him?
Yeah.
Thank you, Faith. Faith says Loose Women was very thought-provoking today and very interesting. Well, thank you, because it was a bit different. It was quite a heavy show, wasn't it?
Wow, look, Dawny, my friend rented out a house, turned out to be where Pitchfork lived at the time of his crimes.
Oh, my God.
Wow, okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's just awful. Just awful. Louise Jones, sorry, I keep missing your comment. This is relating to the abortion law story in Texas. My 4-year-old is from an assault. I chose to keep her and love her with all my heart, but that was my choice. No one should tell another person what they should do with their bodies.
Oh, Louise,
sending you a big hug.
So much.
So much tolerance in that as well. Just to say, as a bit of housekeeping, Sarah Clark, we're going to do a welcome for. Jean, we're going to do a happy birthday. And Denise Nelson-Gale, hope you're well. Your granddaughter, Avia, is 5, so we'll sing a happy birthday to her at the end. Now, this is going to get you very excited, Nats. Abba are back.
Oh, my God.
Abba have got a new album, and they're doing a new 2022 Voyage tour as Avatar. you know what's Avatar?
I don't like holograms.
You don't like holograms or holograms?
I'm not ever going to a hologram show.
But apparently it's going to be a hologram like no other.
No. It's still a hologram.
Right.
Gonna get up, get dressed, get the tube,
Yeah.
get a bag of chips maybe, and that's gonna be the best bit of the night.
Well, yeah. Well, apparently, I mean, it's going to be a.
I don't like it. It just feels like bands trying to make money without putting themselves there. I mean, they're not dead.
Well, why can't they get up on the stage and just perform
Thank
as they
you.
are now? But apparently, I mean, do they just want to still look young? But their holograms are going to perform a new album. What do you think, guys?
I don't like it.
Are you ABBA
I would
fans?
like it.
Say yes or no if you're an ABBA fan. I think it's quite well known that I can't bear them. But
ABBA reunion stories come about every few years, and there's always a catch. And the catch is they're not actually there. It's a hologram.
they're not even going to be behind the hologram.
Of course
stepping
they're not.
out
They're going to be
point.
at home raking in the money. I mean, I went to the Mamma Mia. What was it? Where was it, Mark? That Mamma Mia event.
Oh yeah,
It
where
was
you all
up at
sat down and had dinner.
Oh no, but it was done exactly like a Greek
Mamma
taverna,
Mia.
and we had such a great night. It was really, really brilliant.
Yeah.
He was there, Benji was there. I was sat looking at him like this the whole way through, and that was great because they weren't, it was Mamma Mia.
But it wasn't
You
ABBA,
can't
was it?
Well, no, but it was Mamma Mia. It was the exact stage of Mamma Mia, but
Right.
it was. But you were, it's experiential.
Right.
So you were in the taverna.
Right.
You were at the wedding. But this just feels like, is that so you can be on everywhere in the world and get like your ticket prices everywhere in the world all at once without having to leave your house?
I think, are they going to do one performance? What's the story? Are they going to do
I mean,
one
I don't
performance?
know. You tell me the story.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I just saw it pop up as we were going live. They officially joined TikTok on Monday. It's the final day for their formal announcement to the world, held in London, broadcast live on YouTube. It's accompanied by an extraordinary image of the four members of ABBA in their youth. I just don't quite. I know here they are in. They look all right now. They look fitter than. This is them actually getting out of cars in London for this
I've met
announcement.
both of them. I went with Martine McCutcheon for her audition for Mamma Mia before it even come out. Mamma Mia, the very first.
Right.
And they said to her, "So can you sing for us?" She went, "No, sorry, not today." And she got offered the job anyway. It was so funny.
But they look fitter and younger than the Rolling Stones. And do you know what? Obviously, it's called Avatar because it's Avatar. Clever. But guys, I absolutely love. Oh, Lee, haha, they're not dead. I think someone suggested they might be dead. Susie Logan, I absolutely love ABBA, but my hubby hates them. I'm buying the new album and throwing the hubby out. That's true. Marcia Tom says it's flipping bizarre. Marie Williams says it's a big con. Jan, you're listening
Do you think
to
it's
them
a
now.
con, Lee? Sorry, Lee, my phone went out of battery and then I came in and it was pandemonium in here, so that's why I didn't call you
Elliot
back.
Gonzalez, just perform once and release it in cinemas. Money making with no effort.
It's disgusting.
Sharona, just buy the
I
album.
really hope people don't buy tickets for this.
Yeah. Oh, right. Do you see it? Has it made you a bit annoyed?
Well, I like
Yeah.
people, I think it's a con.
What's your favourite ABBA
And
song?
I would love to know what is the price of those tickets.
Yeah. And
What's it going to be?
Oh, look,
Something
Rich Coulter.
unbelievable. How much richer do you want to be? Now,
Rich Coulter.
if they said they were doing a hologram performance and that money was going to, a charity,
Yeah.
I would go. But I just feel it's.
but there is good precedent here. Elvis, Roy Orbison, and Whitney. There is talk
But
of
they were
Amy
dead.
Winehouse doing.
But darling, they were dead.
That is very true. I
You
keep forgetting this fact.
don't do it when you're not dead.
No, yeah, I agree. Money, money, money. Lay
Must
all
be
your love on
funny.
me.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Is that a song of theirs? It's stupid. I love it.
No, that's just
Super
somebody saying
Trooper.
it's
Dawney Hope. No, I know.
stupid.
Dancing Queen. See, Dancing Queen, I got married to, and it traumatized me so much. I've never recovered. Okay, well,
Has anyone ever been to a hologram show?
a hologram show. Yeah, I can't even think. Imagine. I mean, it must be atmosphereless. I mean, it's not like they can innovate or go off script, can they?
Aaron says maybe they can't sing anymore.
Maybe they can't stand on stage anymore.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Sue. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, well, I think on that note, can I just ask finally as we wrap up, does ABBA basically appeal more to women than men, yes or no?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Just a
Camp.
Yeah,
It's just camp fun.
camp fun.
Easy fun.
Can I just say also a story that came
Went
up
to
just
Buddy
before
Hall
we
in
go?
Roy Abson. It was amazing. Oh, was it, Deborah?
Oh, was it? Was it? Can I just say, there's a final story just popped up just not that long ago, saying A-levels, they're going to introduce now, get this, A star star.
Oh,
Can I just make a suggestion to the whole Department of Education?
It's so
Can I just make a suggestion?
ridiculous.
Make A star star an A, make A star a B, and make A a C. I mean, this is getting ridiculous now. It's going to be A star star exclamation mark.
It's not right.
Doesn't
It's
make any
really
sense.
not right.
Guys, hit the like button if you've enjoyed. Oh, hang on. Did we do? No, we haven't done. Sarah Clark. Can you mangle Sarah Clark's name?
For
Welcome.
welcome, Sarah Clark. Welcome, Sarah Clark. Welcome, Sarah Clark.
Use it as a phone ringtone. Jean, happy birthday to you.
Squash
Happy
tomatoes
birthday to
and
you.
stew. Happy birthday, dear Jean. Happy birthday to you.
And Denise Nelson-Gale, you're lovely. I hope Avia hasn't watched most of this because there's been a lot of very grown-up content. Happy birthday to Avia. So,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
birthday, dear Avia. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, Faith. We hope she does too.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Don't
lovely
forget
evening.
to hit the subscribe button, the like button just under me here. Hit the like button and the notification bell.
And if you fancy becoming a member and winning one of these and watching the Sunday show every Sunday, hit the join button, which I think might
It's
be under the
50p
screen.
a week.
Yeah.
Love you all.
Cheaper than 2 copies of The Sun, mate. Guys, stay safe and don't forget,